I'm going to do my usual abandoning my colleagues to you lot while I go and fiddle about in the background with some of the mechanics. And I want you to join me in prayer as we link up with the Insta of Graham. So far, I think we've done 6 episodes now, and we've only once managed to link up to Instagram. So, thoughts and prayers greatly appreciated at this difficult time.
How's your week been, Siobhan?
All right. I think there's that much going on. I think I don't even know what day of the week it is half the time.
Oh my God.
What about you?
Yeah.
It's a strange world we're living in right now.
Just a bit. How many times have you said what the fuck today?
Yeah, today alone, an awful lot. Lost count.
There's
Okay,
so much
it's
we
looking
can talk
good.
about in the news, and
Yeah, good.
it's I think my parents keep saying that I need to get a swear jar.
Well, because you hang about with me too much. Yeah, and it's rubbing off on you. All right, I just want to say, young Sim, you're coming across a little bit quiet just now. So if you don't mind fiddling about with some manner of doodad. So, right, welcome everybody while Sim has a fiddle with his doodads. We're talking this week about the lovely John Davidson and the Tourette's and what happened at the BBC and the BAFTAs. As you can see, I have some notes on my phone. Look at me, all prepared and poised, ready to go. So, have you guys been keeping your eyes? Have you been watching this unfolding story as the weeks gone by?
Yes, have indeed. And it's it's pretty much been everywhere, isn't it? And it's brought up a lot of feelings, I think.
What feelings? Happiness, sadness, grief, desire to scream?
Yeah, I think probably all of the above, but I think just so much anger, actually, towards just how he's been treated.
Yeah.
After all of that.
Yeah, it's been weird. So for those of you who've been living in a cave for the past wee while, John Davison is the guy whose story was told in the film I Swear, which won 3 BAFTAs at the recent BAFTA Awards. It was last week, wasn't it? And he at the BAFTAs had a number of tics that were heard far and wide. Some of which remained on the recording, even though the BBC had a 2-hour delay on the broadcast of the of the BAFTAs. So one of which that's caused the most massive amount of hoo-ha was the fact that he said the N-word when 2 black actors were on the stage. So, any reflections so far, guys? Any thoughts?
So when I'd obviously first heard about this, I guess there's obviously lots of people shouting about it, saying, "Oh, well, that should have been removed from the broadcast," because, as you said, with it being kind of a delay on the recording. But I sort of initially kind of had that argument saying, well, actually, but why should it have been removed? Because, you know, this is the reality of Tourette's. This is the reality of his life and many other people's with that conditioned life.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, it's like you can't just pick and choose moments that because that makes other people feel uncomfortable. You know, these are the people that are living with that, and so I kind of went in with that. No, they shouldn't have, and there should have been no apology. You know, because it's something that was out of his control. When I sort of reflected kind of further and, you know, some more stuff unfolded, I kind of then, I guess, you know, the argument was as well that the stuff about Free Palestine had been removed, which, yeah, I kind of get, well, why? Yeah, why would you pick one thing over another to be removed? I think if you were going down that line, it should have all stayed in, or you removed all of it. So I can kind of see the sort of argument for that, but I think as a standalone thing, no, I don't believe it should have been removed because we're just then censoring people further. And the whole point of the film and kind of everything that he has done is to raise awareness and understanding for people.
Sim, any thoughts?
Yeah. It. I think it. Which one's right? It should either have all been removed, and they had time to remove it, or they should have kept everything in because it was just singling out one incident, and it made him look as if he was being racist when he wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think the BBC were very quick at apologising. But I think the way that they apologised made it sound like he was in the wrong. And yes,
Like he
of
had
course-
something to apologise for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, what he said was inappropriate. But the apology that the BBC made and the articles that followed from the BBC, ITV, Sky News made him sound like he had done this on purpose, that he had knowingly said those comments, and that he didn't. And why the heck was he then invited to the award ceremony? And if I was him, I would be wanting to stay in and not socialise with society.
Ever again.
I would
because-
be burdened.
Yeah,
sure.
and I guess just on that point as well, that I know that from stuff that I read too, that he actually did leave early because
yeah.
other people around him felt uncomfortable. And I found that really fucking sad because, like, nobody should have to feel the need to leave somewhere early just because other people around them feel uncomfortable for something that's not their fault, that's not in their control. You know, this whole we're trying to be more inclusive and disability friendly, and like that absolutely was not. You know, the fact that he felt he needed to do that, and that for me is just that really angers me.
It's weird that Tourette syndrome is kind of acceptable if it's funny or
Yep.
if it's happening to someone else,
Yeah.
or if it's in a film. You know, I mean, the film won 3 BAFTAs, which is wild, and it is all about the arse clenching, the uncomfortable experience of living with this condition,
Yep.
and the film, spoiler alert, it's all about humanity, compassion, and the love of the people around him.
Yeah, it was a fucking brilliant film.
Yeah, astonishing film.
Absolutely incredible.
And that's your homework, guys. After this, go and watch the film, and I want to hear all your reflections, and I want an essay on my desk on Monday morning. So yeah, it feels really weird that I was speaking to Sim earlier, and it feels a lot like the ugly laws that we were talking about a while back, where in the United States there was a law that said that if people made other people feel uncomfortable for the way they look because of their disability, because of their mental health, then they must remain indoors. They must stay out of public view. And that law stood in the United States until 1973. And it feels like, although we're not implementing that law now, but it feels like people are being pushed into the background, that these things are seen as unacceptable. The other thing was that he had a microphone placed very close to him. He was even though he was something like 40 rows back, he had a microphone placed very close to him, so anything he did say was going to be amplified. And also he had a homophobic tick, which had been taken out too. So the whole thing's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's caused me the most sort of consternation, I think, in all this was a comment by, and this is shared by a lot of the people living in social media world. And it was by Jamie Foxx, the actor. He questioned the involuntariness of Tourette's, and he's saying, out of all the words you could have said, Tourette's makes you say that, and then he followed up saying, nah, he meant that shit, and he labelled it unacceptable. Which, just watch the film, educate yourself. Instead of just judging folk and shooting from the hip like that.
What also really got me is the fact people, they were told before they started recording, before it went live and whatever, obviously John was there because because of the film and the whole kind of that awareness. Of course he had the right to be there. It's about his fucking life. Do you know what I mean? But obviously they made them aware and saying, well, look, he's obviously here. He's obviously got Tourette's. You've seen the film. You'll know that basically kind of what could happen. So it's not like that everyone was in that blindly, but it was just,
So the other thing I've read is that BAFTA told him that any of his tics would be edited out.
Right.
The thing that I've read around the place is his tics are referred to as slurs. And it feels like there's people. I know it's me just pissing around with language, but to be saying that these are slurs, it implies intention, whereas the tics. It's like when somebody hits you on the knee and your leg jerks up. It's a reflex. It just comes from nowhere. I mean, very often it's situational, and these things bounce out in all the inappropriate worst places. But it must have been a fucking nightmare for the guy.
Yeah, I think something that I suppose we're so good at in this country as well is that, and I think definitely the BBC is the one that's in the wrong here, but they've kind of then put two sort of minority communities against each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's now this whole war between obviously black people and then kind of the sort of Tourette's community because of what's happened. Whereas actually, and I think so, Alan Cumming had posted earlier about it, saying that actually we're all let down by decisions made by the BBC to obviously, they say broadcast the slurs and censor free speech. So it's kind of like so both things can exist, can't they? About obviously, black people are obviously feeling. They are kind of really hurt and really kind of disappointed, obviously, that this happened and kind of what the sort of language that was used. But you know, and then obviously, yeah, sort of the Tourette's community are obviously kind of feeling, well, there's still that lack of understanding. But, you know, both those things can exist and they don't need to be put against each other.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're right. I mean, the N word it's disgusting. It's
It
weaponized
is.
language used by racists, and
Yeah.
it's used to harm and negate people of color. So, you know, it's important to put that front and center. In this context, I think it needs a more nuanced eye and nuanced ear, because what went on wasn't a racist attack. What went on was an arse-clenchingly horrible experience for everyone concerned.
But it's just, you know, and I think we'd spoke about this before as well, like how just awful it is the treatment that he's getting from people. Like, you know, he's went kind of, in some cases, like he's this whole kind of hero and this, you know, all the work
Yeah,
that he's
yeah.
done. Like, I mean, he's a literal local legend. Do you know what I mean? In the Scottish Borders, and like absolutely everybody's behind him there. But the hate that he is getting, it's just, you know, because obviously, in a way, he's like he sort of stepped out of line from what they want you to be. It's like, you know, when it's not funny anymore, you don't want to know. You're just kind of cast aside, and you're the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Because it's making other people feel uncomfortable. But his whole life has been fucking uncomfortable.
The horrible thing was he got back from the BAFTAs. He got home to find that his bike had been pinched as well.
Yeah.
It's just a really shitty few days. Good news is the bike's back, so that's cool. How do you think this kind of relates to other mental health stories? How do you think it fits in with the sort of overall mental health rhetoric, the world that we live in?
I mean, do you know what? I don't even know why I was even surprised when all this came out, because it is just one of fucking many stories that are similar, that are, I think because obviously this has been on a bigger scale, and it's been out there and it's like all over media and public, whereas
Yeah.
this is actually reality on a smaller scale in communities, like every single fucking day.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you ever follow them. They're pretty funny in the United States, and I was really gobsmacked to find them punching down. So they did a sketch where they parodied the behaviours of different celebrities, each of whom were claiming they had Tourette's, to explain away their disgusting abusive behaviours, and it was like they were saying, you know, that this is what John had done. I don't know why they would even. I don't know why they do that. You know.
I mean, Americans are a bit of a different kettle of fish, really.
Do you think it's a humour mismatch, and maybe
no.
we're misunderstanding their nuance there?
I don't know. I think, I mean, what's the likelihood, really, of those American people have seen this film? Probably not many at all.
It's pretty slim, yeah.
Yeah. So they'll have no context or nothing behind any of it. So they're just kind of jumping on a bandwagon and,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, the other thing that stood out was, you know, he managed to get his MBE and turn up and bowl up in front of the Queen in 2019 and say, "Fuck the Queen."
Yeah.
And
Didn't even.
the world didn't bat an eye.
No, the Queen was just like, you know,
Yeah.
something like this happens and the whole fucking world is an uproar. Like,
But I think one of the things that sort of jumps out is that prejudice is born out of ignorance.
yeah.
You know, it's certainly in this case, you know, they're saying that I mean, people were saying that the fact that this was in his vocabulary was racist. And it's in everybody's vocabulary, because if it wasn't in your vocabulary, you wouldn't recognise them as words, and then you wouldn't be complaining about them.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what it was, what
Yeah.
it meant.
So that's just an absolutely ridiculous thing to say. So it's strange. I don't get it. I mean, and especially in that environment where they just fucking they've been applauding his film, and
Yeah.
and the contribution that this guy had made to Tourette's, and then suddenly the whole thing's been turned around. Anyway, so personal experiences. Do either of you have any personal experiences of people with Tourette syndrome? Have you ever worked alongside, or you got friends, or and have you ever had a sort of flavour of what's been going on for them?
I don't actually know. Like I said, first kind of encounter, was with John.
Yeah.
And that's only kind of how I've sort of known, just from sort of locally. So no.
So locally, you're saying that he's from your area, and so what's the general feeling? One, originally, and two, after this sort of furore with BAFTA and all that.
Everyone's absolutely fucking outraged at
Right.
the treatment that he's got, because he's, like I said before, he's like a local legend.
Right.
Like, he's so well respected. He's like, the sort of local sort of celebrity. Do you know what I mean? He's obviously done so much for the Tourette's community, and he's done so much for just obviously the local community. And obviously his work that he's done, and just when you speak to people, like, I mean, I don't know him personally, but like, I know a lot of people that do, and there's nothing but really kind words about him, and just just how a brilliant guy he is. And they're absolutely devastated that he has been treated the way that he is, and they really are all behind him. They've really rallied behind him and supporting him.
Yeah. I think you kind of nailed it, Sim, when you were talking about him not, he'd lack the inclination to leave his house after this, but that's something he does all the time. The guy's, I think, incredibly courageous, but I think that courage has been supported by the love and compassion of the people around him, and what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think community is so important, especially with social media basically taking the piss out of you for your disability.
Yeah.
It's interesting, just going back to your point earlier about the ugly laws. I think we are seeing the ugly laws, but I think with the added dimension of social media.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to make this version of the ugly laws even bigger, scarier, and more dangerous, because it takes a couple of seconds for a 30-second clip like that to go on social media, and then it's seen by millions of people around the world. And that's why those comedians on Saturday Night Live were able to make that sketch.
Yeah.
Because, yes, they haven't seen the film, but they don't need to, because they saw that 30-second clip.
Because they can
that's
they
all
can
they
make
need.
a cheap gag off the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about social media being the town square, and it feels like in this town square, people with disabilities are often being put in the stocks and being pilloried and being ridiculed in that space. I mean,
And that's just, I guess, reflective of just the world that we live in, isn't it? If it doesn't shock you, it doesn't grab your attention, it's not worth
Yeah,
putting out there. But it's always without context and the most demeaning headlines possible.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about my own. I've got two experiences of people with Tourette's, and my first one was a very good friend of mine when I was in primary school, and I mean he didn't swear. He had other tics, and I've got such fond memories of he and I sitting in a crabapple tree in the middle of Corby. We had an ancient woodland in the middle of Corby, and it had paths going by, and there was this crabapple tree. We sat in it, and glue sniffers would go by, and we just spend a day lobbing crab apples at people because we were fucking thugs. But so, but somehow, I also often think of kids being really cruel, but this guy was just he was one of us. There was nobody challenged him. Nobody said, why is he different? It was just he was completely accepted. I mean, maybe that's a primary school thing. I don't know, but he was completely one of the tribe. So that was lovely, and I really hope that he went on to have a really sort of fulfilling life. I lost touch with him at the end of primary school, but he was just a gorgeous person. And then the other one was as a professional was as a social worker, and there was a guy who had a heart surgery, and he came back from heart surgery, and he had one tick, and that tick was to every so often shout out the name of his dead dog. And he was mortified because he'd be in the middle of Tesco's and suddenly he'd shout out the name of his dead dog, and people were going, what the fuck's wrong with him? And so, and that's a guy just shouting out the name of his dead dog. And John Davison's got this diatribe of stuff that pours out of him, and he's got the physical tics as well
Yeah.
that go along with it. And I mean, it must have been so incredibly challenging. Um, the beauty of the film, I think, was when they brought the community of people with Tourette's and their families together, to show you're not alone.
Yeah.
And I think that's what maybe parallels come with other sort of physical disabilities and mental health problems. I mean, am I being a fantasist here and going, yes, this sort of kumbaya approach to supporting each other? Am I being naive, or do you think that
But why shouldn't it be like that? Do you know what I mean? Why shouldn't
Yeah.
it be like, people with disabilities are not fucking monsters.
No,
They didn't ask to be disabled, and they just
no,
want to be able to function in society and live their life just like anyone else.
yeah. So,
Couldn't put better myself on there. Yeah, it's I fear that even within the disability community, we are becoming more and more tribal, even within our community, and that. But I do think we should come together.
So-
Communities should come together, and
yeah.
and kind of talk, basically. And
So
support each
yeah, I
other.
mean, we are kind of split into kind of some weird goodies and baddies of, or if we speak on behalf or we advocate on behalf of each other, we're often seen as virtue signalling, or some people will say, well, I've got enough things going on in my life, I don't need to be worrying about this shit. Is it good? Is it healthy that we have different places to go online where we feel safe. You know, it's a bit like the special school argument. You know, is it good that we have mental health spaces? Is it good that we have disability spaces? Or, you know, ideal world, should we be more integrated?
That's difficult, isn't it? Because there's always going to be nuance behind things, aren't there? But
Yeah.
I just, you know, at the end of the day, the reason why we all stick together is because we're not accepted elsewhere. So what if we didn't stick together? Then we are alone. You know, if you were in a society that was more accepting and more integrated, then yeah, but you maybe wouldn't need to have like for all these different specialist things, because it would just be part of society and celebrating the diversity. I don't know.
Yeah. So, right, you guys are suddenly the bosses of BBC and BAFTA. How would you have done it?
I would have left it all in. All the stuff that they've taken out, I would have just left it in. And I would never have put an apology out, because why would you apologise for something that was out of someone's control?
How would you have prepared the world for this? Or do you think the fucking film being at the BAFTAs was
Well, exactly, the film. Like,
sufficient
yeah.
preparation?
Well, the film, and obviously the people that were there obviously knew that this could happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe just people being more fucking informed and actually reading, doing the research. Okay, it's not difficult. Like, we have fucking so much technology and Google and everything at our fingertips. It's not tricky to look up something. But I just... Yeah, it really gets me, this whole apology thing. I think that's probably the thing that I stick on the most.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just feels so unfair.
Do we know if the two presenters that were on stage, do we know if they were offended by the comments?
I think there has been something, yeah, that says that they were... Well, I mean... Yes and no. I think a lot of rage is more towards the BBC, because that they feel like there was no care or kind of support, I guess, after that for them.
I think I read somewhere that they were pissed off that BAFTA didn't speak to them afterwards.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that have just been good if, you know, somebody had facilitated a conversation between all parties concerned?
Yeah. That check-in, say, you know, are you okay? Like, obviously, you know, and that's it. It's like, it's not saying that wasn't terrible, yeah, because it is. I can't imagine how, you know, some of them being called that word, that, you know, that makes them feel, and kind of, obviously, you know, the sort of connotations behind it. But yeah, it wouldn't. It's not so difficult to go afterwards, take them to the side and be, look, how are you doing? Like, you know, checking in.
They were in the same room with the guy. You know, could they not have gone and got, you know, all three people together and gone, guys, let's have this conversation now, and really experience what it's like to be each other. And I think you nailed it, Siobhan, by saying, look, this is two minoritized groups who've been singled out to sort of it's almost like cockbaiting. You know, it's cockfighting. It's sort of like, oh, look, they're fighting amongst themselves. Isn't that great? It's become a bit of a spectacle.
Yeah.
So, would you have prepared more? I mean, or do you think saying, "Behold, a fucking film about Tourette's," you know, is there anything else that could have perhaps been done to ease the way?
I don't think so. Like, I don't know what else you could do. Like, as you said, the film is there. Like, it's there for a reason. just to bring that awareness and understanding. You know, there was that warning as well before they started recording that obviously he's here because absolutely he had every fucking right to be there. But you know, this is reality that, especially under, you know, kind of a very stressful situation, and you know, it's obviously very exciting as well and being there. So you
Can
know,
you imagine? Can you imagine? You know, being John and thinking, fucking hell, they made a film about me and look, 3 BAFTAs. Fucking hell.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you know, you think, well, yeah, there's obviously a potential that, you know, his ticks are going to happen because
Yeah.
you know, just not even just that situation, but of course, just with that sort of stress and the excitement that, you know, it was bound to happen. So, like, yeah, that warning was given. Like, I don't know what else that you're supposed to. You can't exactly prepare for what's going to come out either. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but just, yeah.
What about you, Sam? What are you thinking?
I'm still trying to get my head around the fact that the BBC thought it was appropriate to remove all of the other ticks and not that one.
Yeah, I'd
I
like
want
to know the
Yeah.
thinking behind that.
I want to know who decided that it would be okay to keep that one in, but then remove the rest, because it isn't just, oh, we accidentally forgot to take it out. There would have had to been a director or producer who decided, no, let's keep that in.
This is an editorial decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which the words "what the fuck" apply there, I believe.
But then, are we surprised, really? It's the BBC, they're corrupt as they come. So they were probably wanting to fucking cause some havoc because why not? It kind of, again, it's a distraction technique from the shit that they do. So,
Do you think it's clickbait? Is that what you
oh,
think?
100%. Come on, absolutely. It's the BBC.
See, I being 1,000 years old, I was brought up man and boy with the BBC, and it was one of, and it's taken a real mental cultural shift for me. I think at times they're going to be fucking shit, and they have been fucking shit here.
Well, I mean, just look at the absolute scandals over the last few years, and you know everything that's been coming out. Obviously, the people that they obviously have employed and had close sort of
Nurtured.
connections with.
Yes.
So, are we really surprised?
Yeah. So, right. What's the best way to move forward with this? How do we remove some of the what the fuckedness? A what the fucked epectomy? Oh, do you know? That started off as almost a really great word, but I utterly fucked it up. But anyway, you know what I mean. Yes, an amputation of what the fuckedness.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Maybe, just going back to your question earlier, like, maybe they should have shown the film on the BBC just a couple of hours before they
Yeah, I
they
think that's a brilliant
showed,
idea. Yeah.
just so that people had contact. I think that's the issue, is every in that space had context to his tics. The audience who were watching it on their phones or on TV did not have the same context. And that's why it went viral on social media.
It's interesting because I had a chat with Sim about this, and I said I'd watched the film and I found it inspirational, and Sim's quite polite, but I could see in his eyes he was going, "Oh, Chris, can you just fuck off?" because probably one of the first conversations that he and I ever had was surrounded talking about disabled people being inspirational. Let me take you back in time. Tell us all about that conversation back in the day.
I think I told you to fuck off after
I think
2
no, I
minutes
think
of our conversation.
I
Our
think you
first
used
conversation
very
on the phone.
much kinder words. I think you were thinking, here's a guy really clearly doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Let me guide him through his mistaken ways. Is what I remember.
Okay. No, it was during 2016, wasn't it?
It was,
Paralympic
yeah,
Games.
yeah.
And Channel 4 decided to do an advert on the Paralympic Games and call Paralympic athletes superhumans.
You could barely bring yourself to say it.
And I was I was getting fed up of being called a superhuman because I was able to catch the bus on my own.
You'd managed to
or
get to Tesco's.
I
Yeah.
was able to go and have an education, or I was able to talk for myself, and yeah, and I fear that that's going to happen with this situation. Is
So
people with Tourette's are going to rely on other people to speak for them, so that they don't, so that their
Yeah.
tics are not shown.
almost sort of smothered. See, the reason I found him inspirational, and I think it's a kind of the alignment of the planets. I think, but his condition is incredibly disabling. A lot like a lot of us, the main disabling issue for a lot of us is not the disability itself, but it's society's response or the disabling society around us. And it just took a few people to go, no, we love you. We think you're great. Crack on. Be you. Be yourself. We'll support you because we want to understand what's going on for you. And it's not rocket science, but he then took that and he thought, well, I'm going to take this privilege, if you like, and I'm going to teach people. I'm going to reach out to other people with Tourette's. I'm going to build a community. I'm going to talk to families, police, everybody, so that we can get beyond this. So there's no. It feels like there's no pity in his world. It feels like empathy, and he's created that, and the people around him have helped create that, and so that's what I found inspirational. I heard a couple of people. It was Mark Kermode did a review, and he said he found himself interviewing the one of the actors in it, and he said, I just found myself crying. And he said, just leave it be. You just carry on. You talk about your stuff, and I'll pull myself together. And so this actor who'd been in it, they talked a bit more, and they burst into tears. And I've got to say, after I watched the film, I burst into tears. So there's a lot of tears going on. Then again, I cry at fucking anything. So inspirational or not, Siobhan? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, but after you watched the film, what were your feelings like?
Oh God, emotion. Just so much emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, just. I think, obviously, heartbreaking for kind of what he'd been through, and kind of, just his life, and that's kind of what he's had to kind of endure as well from other people. But like, yeah, again, just that inspiration that like, actually, I want to make something good of this, and raise awareness and that understanding, and yeah, it was really emotional.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I know anybody who I haven't told to watch the fucking film.
Yeah, everyone should absolutely see
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh,
How
by
do
the
you-
way,
how
Sid,
do you
watch
see
the
it?
fucking film. Sorry, carry on.
How do you see it? How, like, is it going to be on?
I bought it on the Amazon Prime for my sins. I dare say you could get it at other streaming places of your choice.
Is it going to?
We have a big comment.
Yeah.
So yeah, John is an inspiration to people in and out of the Tourette's community.
Fantastic. I think that's bang on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the humanity of the guy.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to him? If he was on the show now with us, what would you like to say to him? Or would we do the normal British thing and just mumble around it and go, yeah, thanks for coming on the show. You've been great. It's great to come across somebody who actually swears slightly more than Chris. So that's cool.
Yeah. I would, just absolutely just love to thank him just, for everything that he has done. Because I'm not part of the Tourette's community, but like, I think just from, like, as I suppose, disability kind of community, like, yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. And the fact that, he has endured so much shit. And even now, like, obviously he's really having a fucking terrible time, which is awful. But like, I really hope that doesn't stop him, like that doesn't kind of deter him for continuing the amazing work that he's doing, because then I feel like that then just lets those people win.
The thing I love is it put a warm fuzzy feeling down my back was when you said basically the Gala community just gathered around him and just gave him a big warm social media community hug.
Yeah. Like 100%, like just you can basically go on to Facebook without everyone saying like I stand with him, and
fantastic.
Or, just comments, just like comments people were adding to, like the posts, like fucking Lad Bible and all that's put up, about it. Just all the comments, from people as well locally, just completely behind him, and that in itself was obviously really nice to see, just as that community coming together and just showing that support and solidarity for him. Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? What am I thinking? It'd be lovely to sort of see what it is that's helped nurture that with him. Is it the fact that he's one of your own, he lives in your area, and that you've all grown up with him, and that he's become a living legend? Or is it because the people of Gala are just fucking sound, and you're a warm, huggy bunch?
I mean, I think just it's always a bit strange, isn't it? Because I suppose like in smaller communities, there's always that kind of that worry about the kind of it's IUB, and like people are, I don't know, in a sort of very cliquey in a sort of cliquey way. But I think times like this has really shown actually how important it is, like a small community to come together. And I think even just taking that out of the equation, just like everything that he's done alone, do you know what I mean? For, the Tourette's community, and just like, actually just his local community, just everything that he's done is like obviously so positive. And like, how could anyone sort of discount that and dismiss that and forget that? Because I feel like has been forgotten as well throughout all of this. His life work of trying to, make things better for other people, and so they don't have to go through what he did.
I mean, that's right. I mean, he hasn't just been doing it for himself. He hasn't gone,
No,
right, I'm going to make my life better here. But
no,
it's everybody. He's
yeah,
for other people with Tourette's, friends, family, professionals,
hmm
everybody. Sim, you got that I want to say something look on your face.
No, where does he go from here? How does he? Because I know what I would. I know if I was in his situation, I would want to hide away
hmm
and not leave my property. How does he? And it's great, like the fact that your local community is behind him and supporting him. But how does he kind of resurface on social
Would you feel
media?
differently though, Sim, if people were banging on your door telling you how fantastic you were? I mean, banging on your social media door. I mean, they're not obviously not banging on his door, but obviously some arsehole stole his bike. But
I don't. I think there's been too much negative press by the BBC, by ITV, by Saturday Night Live that at the moment, unless there is a positive story that can come out of it, I think, I don't know, it's,
I mean, yeah, I don't know if you have seen like what he put out on Facebook. He
No.
put up a thing, and I mean, it's had over 51,000 people have seen it, and
Okay.
Over nearly 4,000 comments, and it's all support for him. But yeah, he basically says he's been waiting all week until the dust settles after the weekend at the BAFTAs in London. I'd like to thank each and every one of you who has shown love, support, and solidarity towards myself and the rest of the Tourette's community. Your kind words and support have got me through a very difficult week. Whilst I will never apologise for having Tourette syndrome, I will apologise for any pain, upset, and misunderstanding that it may create. This past week has been tough and has reminded me that what I do, raising awareness for such a misunderstood condition, there is still a long way to go, and I will keep on keeping on until this is achieved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all, Johnny D.
Fantastic. So, how do we help him? How do we get behind him? How do we prod? How how do we enable? Because it's not just this isn't just his job.
No.
It's all of our responsibility, surely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how do we help with that?
Let's get him on the show.
Yeah, I mean, John, if you're watching, or by some quirk of somebody's imagination that this appears on your laptop in Gala, you'd be incredibly welcome. We'd love to have you on and just gently talk you through it, and you can tell us exactly what it's felt like and how we can help to be part of the change that we all fucking need. Yeah, that we want. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would be delighted to talk to you. So, what about you, Sim? Do you know people who know people who know people that we could somehow, drag him onto the show and members of the CIA who might want to kidnap him or something like that, put it in the back of a van.
I think it'd be great to have a conversation with him and just talk, not just about that night, but also
Yeah.
behind the story behind the film and how that came about, and and talk about kind of the public reaction to the film before the awards ceremony. It'd be amazing just to kind of hear his story, and I think if we can just promote his social media pages as much as we can, and just share his, share what he posts, and I think I'm reminded of our conversation a couple of weeks ago with the Disability Rebellion. Group, and talking about social media, and they are growing rapidly on X, especially on that, and they were talking about how social media has a mix of amazing, incredible people who are very supportive, and the minority of people who are basically abusive. And I think the more that we can comment and share these amazing stories, the more the minority hatred comments get kind of overshadowed.
How do we pull the wider populace into these conversations? Because you're talking earlier that we the impression I was getting that you were saying that we easily slip into silos where we're all divided up, and very often people don't get involved in stuff like this until it affects them directly. Apart from getting Toby Jones to be in a film where he is the main character, how do we drag more and more people into these? I mean, fucking hell, he's made a film. I mean, I don't know. No, John Davison's sound. I mean, he's got a film. He's got a film that I think it has 100% likes on Rotten Tomatoes. So, yeah, he's got his film. So, but yeah, but even then, we've got this massive mismatch, this massive misunderstanding in a room where it feels like things couldn't have been better prepared. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fascinating environment. And we do have to look after each other, I think, and give ourselves that sort of that warm internet hug just to make sure that we're okay. What have we got?
Another comment here. Hashtag Spunk for Milk would be a good way to raise awareness of the film.
That is actually in the film. So
Yeah.
just in case you were thinking what bizarre turn has the podcast suddenly taken. But yeah, I think that's fantastic. That is fucking brilliant. Thank you to whoever said that. I will love you always. Right, I think we've kind of reached it. How are we feeling about all this? At the end of this, are we feeling a bit tense? Are we feeling hopeful? Are we feeling, change can happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's shit. And I think, there's still so much anger. Yeah, obviously, like, the BBC need to do better, of course. They really did fail. Oh, fucking everybody, didn't they, in this? But I think seeing the love and support that people are giving them and getting behind them, and obviously just that, kind of that thing that he put out as well. I think it does give you hope, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The fact that I suppose, like, when shit things happen, we can't let it kind of deter us, and because I suppose at the end of the day, like, you kind of I suppose you do your best, and you know that you've kind of done what you can. And yeah, fuck everyone else.
Fuck everyone else. So I'm thinking about what you were saying, Sim, that your inclination would have been, in his circumstances, to bail and go, right, I'm never leaving the fucking house again. But that's not you, to be perfectly honest. I mean, and you do stuff, you make a noise. And a lot of people do just go, well, I'm not going out ever again because of all the shit that's thrown our way. Everything from, my God, you're an inspiration for getting on the bus, to, you should be in bed by 8 o'clock.
But that's what they want. I think
Yeah.
this is well. I think there's a lot of people that do. I mean, some people maybe not so much kind of actively want that, but I suppose in a way passively, that's just what they expect, and well, that's just the way it is. But I'm kind of like two fingers to that, because like if we did kind of, I suppose, succumb to that, then we are just continuing to be censored and hidden away, and nobody kind of just left, and nobody cares about us. So yeah, I'm a bit more on that. No, we need to fucking uprise and get out there. That's well, that's me.
No, and I'm delighted that that's your standpoint. Sim.
I think my comment. I think I made that comment because I think there have been times in my kind of life that I have had comments on social media a bit like the ones that he's probably received, and I've just wanted to just stay at home and never leave the property, and that's probably why I said those comments. Like
I think it's fair enough you said them.
I think definitely, because I mean it's not easy, is it? It's not going to be easy, but I think then that just kind of proves further the need for us to be together and to have each other's backs.
I mean, it would be hypocritical of me not to say that I once spent roughly 2 years being unable to leave the house unless I left it with Ella, and so which meant I left very, very rarely, and it was because of all these twisted notions of shame, embarrassment, of thinking, why can't I just be fucking normal?
Yeah.
But so I think it's great that we've got these little uprisings, these little explosions of people going, actually, I'm not accepting that, but it's being proactive. How do we? And these are conversations that will develop over the next weeks, months, years. Is how do we develop this proactive behaviour? How do we stop being reactive to shitty behaviour? And how do we think, right? How do we? What conversation do we start off with without just reacting to some wanker saying something horrible about us?
Yeah.
So. No, right. So, are we okay? We feeling good, energized, a bit tired, a bit sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Shall we call it that? I'm going to thank you both for jolly long. Who on earth have you been? Just remind our dear listeners.
I've been Siobhan.
Thank you so much for coming. Thanks, Sim. It's been great to see you. And this has been What the Fuck, a production by Square Pegs, and thanks for tuning in. And shortly after this, we're going to send out a recording of this and a whole bunch of shorts all across the interweb, like a little explosion of love and whatnot.